see if a few people may join in.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's just on your channel, isn't it?
Yes.
Copy link.
So we are live. So just give it a minute once everything sort of settles and we've got all the technical issues out of the way.
Right, there you go. Just check that link was the right one. Cool. Right. Let's see if we get a few.
We should have my channel and your meme page on there scrolling at the bottom as well. So yeah.
Cool.
Welcome. So it has been what, a year and a half since you started doing the meme page then?
Yeah, I think it was, if I'm right, April. Where are we now? It'd be April 21. Yeah, it must have been.
About that.
Yeah, so yeah, basically a year and a half.
Yeah, so how is it going with that channel? Because
Yeah,
I've seen there's a lot of players involved, there's a lot of pundits involved, and it's looking good. I mean, it
was.
You see tons of guys on there, and obviously I'm going to say there's going to be a fair few players taking the piss.
Yeah, it started off as I think we were during lockdown during that period, and I was just a bit bored one day, and I was like, well, it was kind of a market that wasn't there for rugby as a whole, really, but especially for Leicester. There wasn't anything that I saw on Instagram or anything like that, and I was just like, well, let's give it a go. It started off with a meme on, I think it was when Bondi was doing those interviews. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the ones with either Steve or, I don't know, Andrea or someone like that, and it was that Oprah Winfrey. That's how it started it, and then I just kept doing it. It was good fun, and suddenly a few players. I think the first player, I could be wrong, but I think the first player was Hanro Liebenberg, who followed me, which, as I like to say, I'm the number one fanboy. That was quite like, whoa, Hanro. And then just one by one, they just kept coming, and it still absolutely blows my mind that so many of the squad follow a silly little Instagram account. It's just crazy, really.
But you know what? It makes that whole difference where it's a little bit of club culture that I don't think we have as much in rugby, but having that, you know what? Fuck it. Everyone take the piss. It's great. It's just a sport at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all good fun.
So, have you recovered from the final yet?
What a day that was.
I would have killed to have been there.
It was incredible to be finally back at Twickenham. I went to the European final the year before, but it obviously wasn't the same. It was 10,000, still made a hell of a noise, but to be back at Twickenham after, what was it, 9 years since we were last there? 2013?
9 years. 2012, 2013 season.
Yeah, it was just
the Dylan Hartley red card.
The infamous occasion. But yeah, it was just incredible. Incredible to be back, and I had an absolutely amazing experience. I reported on the game with the help of Bobby Bridge, who runs the Tiger section of Leicester Mercury and Leicestershire Live, and it's absolute privilege to be there in the media section. Excellent view of the game.
100%. It's going to be an absolute experience.
Like, it was just incredible on the game. I know we're meant to be impartial in the media bit, but occasionally that kind of slides a little bit, because we are all three. There's also another trainee, John, who helps out with Bobby as well, and we're all Leicester fans at heart. And just that ending was incredible. Like, just for who it was, everyone loves Freddie. Freddie is a fan's favourite, cult
the
hero.
king of Leicester.
The literal king of Leicester. All bow down to him. But it was just so good. Like, especially being Saracens. Everyone's tipping Saracens going to be a walkover. Yes. And it was just... I don't think what I said before the game, the Saracens 2010 final, when Dan Hitcliffe scored at the end, that was the best ever live game I've been to. And I think that in, July now, I think that did top it as the best ever live game I've ever been to. And I don't see how anything can top that, really.
No, it was awesome. I mean, for me, just I couldn't afford the travel down. It was like thousands of pounds down to London from Scotland, and it's like I can't do that. So I live in a tiny little town on the east coast of Scotland, and we ended up, I think there was 4 or 5 Leicester fans, and like there was me, my dad, and a few boys from Leicester. We're in this tiny little pub, just going absolutely nuts, and it was awesome. And like everyone's in Leicester colours, and the guy that owns the pub, he's a Wasps boy. I walked in and he went, "You boys better fucking win." And then it was like, as soon as we win, just beers. There's a couple of bottles. Let's celebrate from the barman. It was awesome. So it was like we had our own little experience, and it was kind of weird having Leicester fans there. We
get everywhere.
They really are. I mean, the most bizarre story I have is I met some Leicester fans in Hong Kong up a random mountain, and we just started having a conversation, and it was just, we both sort of looked at each other and like, we literally are everywhere. It's weird.
Literally. I don't think there's any other rugby team like it. Like, no matter where you go, somehow there's a Leicester fan, Leicester shirt. It is crazy.
The only other one I could sort of closely think of is like Claremont, because we had the Michelin not too far from where I live, so there's like the odd Claremont fan dotted about.
Yeah,
but it's the only one where it's the only other club I could imagine that even comes close.
Yeah, it is. We are literally everywhere.
So, how did you first become a Tigers fan? Because I'm going to say we have very different stories.
Well, it started when I was literally a few months old. My granddad used to work for the Tigers when just on the age of turning professional. So I still don't fully understand what he did, but he did stuff with contracts, and just as the game was turning professional, I still don't fully understand what he did, but he did something along all that sort of side. So I was kind of had no other choice. I think I went to my first game. I think there's a picture of me when a couple of months old at the ground, being held by my granddad, and I basically had no choice then. So I think I don't know when I got my first season ticket, but obviously when I was, I don't know, like 3 or 4, and I've literally been a season ticket holder since. It's the best club in the world. It's the best ground.
100%,
it's
100%.
But it's just such a great club to be involved with, and it's never going to change. I'm going to be a Leicester fan for my whole life.
I mean, for me, it was I got into rugby 10, 11 years old because all my friends played. So our choice was Edinburgh, Glasgow. That was the split. And then like I started admiring like a few of the players, like your Marcus Ayerza, Richard Cockrell, and Darren Garforth, Martin Joy, all forwards, I have to admit. But yeah, that's how I got into it. And I've just, ever since I was 10, 11, I'm 31 now, and it's been 20 years of ups and downs, but it's really been an experience to be a Tigers fan. I mean, I've still never been to Welford Road. It's just one of those things. It's just, I do need to get there. I've seen them play. I have seen them play live. The very first one was when they came up to Scotstoun, and they got absolutely humped. I think it was like 42-0 or something like that.
Yeah. Let's just talk about the better.
Yeah, I mean, that was great, and sad to say it, but like my first experience with an actual live crowd, I had a good conversation with Ed Slater, so I've kind of really got a soft spot for Ed Slater. So you know what's going on with him just now, really, that one hits home.
Yeah.
But yeah, that my first experience of seeing Tigers live was an absolute fucking humping. But yeah, so I'll look at the coming season. So we've set the bar pretty high for Tigers now, winning the league.
Yeah.
So where do you see us coming this season?
It is really hard to predict this season. I think every team with the salary cap is going to be so close. Like, I know last season was incredibly tight. Every team was, well, a lot of teams were pushing for that playoff position. But this season is going to be so tight. You've got teams like Gloucester looking really strong, coming back
It's
to the
crazy
best.
how good Gloucester look at right now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a team as consistent as them. Like they've to hold on to that many players, they look really dangerous. And dare I say it, top 4 for them.
Yeah, I think they will make it. And you've got teams like Bristol that had a really poor season last season. They've recruited well, obviously, with our unfortunately the baby rhino going across there.
It's double worse for me because they got Bradbury from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and McGinty's an excellent player.
McGinty as well is a hell of a signing, so they've done well.
So surely they're going to be pushing back up to what they were 2 seasons ago.
I think top mid. I still think they're going to have a little bit of a problem trying to gel that team together. But I mean, the front row alone of Genge, Thacker, and Sinclair is just
unreal.
It's so impressive, and I've been watching a lot of Exeter at the minute with like all their behind the scenes stuff, and seeing a little bit of recruitment from them, seeing who they've brought in, seeing the players coming back from injury. I think they're going to be a very dangerous prospect.
Yeah, they'll be hurting. Exeter will be hurting a lot after last season. That's the first time for.
On you go.
Yeah, it's the first time for a few seasons that Exeter kind of got found out. I know the new laws maybe affected them, but there's just so many teams. Like, you never know what could happen to Bath. They could have the new head coach could suddenly push them up because their team, they should be nowhere near the bottom. But it's
I could honestly see like top 4 is going to be Leicester, Sarries, Gloucester, probably Exeter. I think Quins are going to be very close, but for me that seems pretty consistent.
Yeah, I think Leicester will make top 4. We're not going to have the season like last year. Like, that was unbelievable.
No. The minimum I would want now would just be qualifying. We've set the bar. Let's try and bring a few of the new boys through, the young kids. I mean, the youth academies already kicked the season off pretty well. They've beat Sale. I think it's Northampton have they beaten as well.
Yeah, I think the opening game was Northampton.
So they're looking pretty good. So this season, qualify and bring through some new boys. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
So speaking of new boys, let's talk about the new players. So Tom Horton, have you seen too much of him?
No, I think there was a little montage on YouTube when I saw that he'd come over short term as well. It's kind of like Nick Dolly's cover while he recovers from his injury. He looked physical, looked athletic, loved them all. What more can you want from a hooker? He looks like a good little pickup for the time being while Dolly is out.
Yeah, he reminds me of a Chout Brit. Really dynamic compared to like say Tom Young's, for instance, where it's a lot of smash and grab. I think
head
it's
down.
A very different prospect, and he looks pretty tasty. Joe Taufetehe. I don't know how much you've watched of him.
Physicality galore. He is a beast.
Yeah. Have you watched the MLR at all?
No, unfortunately, it's one area of the rugby world that I've unfortunately missed a bit. I know he's been ripping up trees over there, and
I mean, it's not to be disrespectful to the league, but it's a bit of a step down from him going from like Worcester and Lyon to there. But it was a man playing with children there. Yeah, and then you've seen him with Lyon, you've seen him with Worcester. I have no idea how many tries he scored for Worcester. I'm sure the last season he was there, he was their top try scorer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
But as soon as I seen him, I put a message out on Twitter and, said hi to him and was like, "This is pretty awesome. That's a really, really good signing."
Yeah, definitely 100%. And like his try scoring record for USA has been insane. So you wouldn't bet against him scoring a few for us.
Was like 36 and 36 or something like that?
I don't know. It's something insane. I think he's got the record in international for type 5. I think it is.
Yeah.
For tries, which is we love a hooker scoring tries.
Yeah, I mean he fits that mold. He is the Tom Youngs, your Richard Cockrell, that bit of a head case, get your head down, loves them all, loves the scrum.
I'm intrigued to see if he plays at all at tight head prop. I know I don't know if it was last season or he's done a little bit
he's done a little bit in the US and he's done a little bit at Lyon.
Which always helps. Smaller squad, you need that.
Yep. I could see him possibly playing those the midweek games that we've got this season. He might come off the bench there. He might do 2 bench appearances, I don't know, in a week. It's quite possible. But yeah, like you said, it really does help having that 2 roles for him.
Yeah.
So we'll James Cronin. Could
you ask for bigger shoes to fill?
No. He wasn't on my radar, and I as much as being an Edinburgh boy, I have to shout and rave. I wanted Pierre Schumann coming to Leicester. I think he's possibly the only player that could fill Genge's shoes.
Yeah,
just the physicality, the scrummaging, but that would mean he would leave Edinburgh and I would be heartbroken. He's so good. Honestly, just watching him live, he is huge. He is so physical, and it's watching that boy on TV. But anyway, James Cronin. I think it's a pretty astute signing from what I've seen so far, and I've done a little bit of highlights reel for him. I mean, great over the ball. He really does remind me of Dan Cole. I think he's the loose head version of him. Yeah, how I would describe him. Just not fancy, great over the ball, will carry, will scrummage, will maul, will do the basics. But I think his probably best ability is over the ball.
Yeah. I saw that he's on one of the highlight reels. He was great over the ball, winning lots of turnovers. Like we're never going to get a Genge replacement who is so good.
No.
Ball in hand around the park. But one thing we could get is Genge is an excellent scrummager, don't get me wrong. But I think Cronin's probably a similar level, if not maybe slightly better. And if
from what I've seen, I would say similar level at the moment. But with what Tom Harrison's done at the minute with that club, I think he could do a lot. I think he could do a lot 100%. With it.
I think it's an excellent. Obviously, he would be on a lot less salary as well, so I think it's an excellent bit of business.
Yeah, it's the money ball from Leicester now is just
so good.
There's not many big names, but they are playing pretty well.
Yeah, 100%.
So next one, Ollie Cracknell. For me, this is probably our best signing. As soon as I see that, a sort of under the radar guy, I really liked it.
This is Steve Borthwick signing all over. This is the type of player that Steve Borthwick loves. I think for me, someone like Harry Wells is someone that Steve just adores. And for me, Cracknell's got that. Just hard work. Like, doesn't take a backward step. Physicality. Just will put his head in places not many other players will. I think he's a really good bit of business. Someone that probably other people obviously there's quite a few big name signings around the Premiership sides, but I think Ollie Cracknell is a really good bit of business.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to like those Dave Denton signing sort of thing, where it's like you said, it's not much money, but it's a smart guy that people underestimate. And was it the Jersey game where he had like 2 tries or something like that?
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a good bit of business.
Yep, 100%. 100%. We got Harry Simmons coming back.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
I wasn't expecting it, and I don't think many people were.
No.
But I think with JVP being away, possibly Ben Youngs as well. Maybe not as much now because he's the old man of the team. I think Harry Simmons will be a lot at scrum half now. I could see quite a bit.
Yeah, again, it goes to versatility. Smaller squad, you need people who are versatile. He can play scrum half. He can play it in the back three. Like, he's going to be perfect for those occasions where maybe running a little bit low on injuries or, well, international periods. It's the perfect example. But yeah, someone I didn't expect for us to bring back, but thinking about it, it makes sense, really.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, he knows the club inside and out. He's came through the academy. Just why not sign him?
Yeah.
I could honestly, if they were bringing in a scrum half, I couldn't think of anyone else to bring in. That's pretty cheap, pretty versatile, that knows the club. But yeah, good bit of business. And then Henry Pollard. I'll let you go first because I have the controversial opinion on Henry Pollard.
It's gonna time will tell. Time will tell. When it was announced, I'll say it's good signing. It's gonna be it's kind of the obvious choice-ish. Like, he's similar to our style of play. Obviously, for me, George Ford is still the best fly half in the world. You're not going to replace him. But Pollard does have our game style, kicking, kick chase, excellent boot, although that has been a bit shaky recently. Massive boot, though. He does have a game plan that Steve Borthwick likes. However, injury record recently hasn't been good.
Yes.
And now we've got another knee injury. Nothing is said about how serious. We will probably never find out because Steve Borthwick doesn't say anything about injuries.
We're never, ever going to find out that injury.
He could be out for the season. I don't think so, but you just never know. Injuries worry me a bit, and recent form does worry me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my whole thing was the salary cap. Even though he has taken a pay cut, for me, I thought we could get a player of close or similar value to. So my suggestions were Chris Smith from the Bulls and Jaco van der Vaart from Edinburgh. And I even threw in Joel Hodgson from Newcastle. Yeah. If you wanted like a really cheap, plus have that English qualified. For me, having like a really good competition with Freddie Burns, because right now on current form, I do not think anyone is putting Freddie Burns out of that squad. I don't even think George Ford could put him out of that squad.
Not after last season.
No.
He'll be on a high. And he's looking good in pre-season too.
I mean, my old man, when Freddie Burns got signed, and I really want to meet Freddie Burns to tell him this, but my old man was like, no, he's going to be terrible. We don't need him. And I want to be there when my old man turns around to Freddie Burns and goes, yeah, I was wrong. But I honestly, for the money and the time he's going to be at the club, I don't think Pollard's going to be worth the money.
It's a time will tell.
For me. That for me, but I think because he's going to be there for the end of the season, that money sort of title winning time, he'll probably slot a few penalties and win us the league.
Yeah, if he's holding the trophy at the end of the season, all will be proved wrong. But at this moment in time,
I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong.
I would be. But at this moment in time, I think it's 50-50. I still don't know if it's a good signing or not.
No, I would love to be a fly on the wall in that injury room. Because I know he is coming early, and that usually doesn't bode well. So he'll probably the same time he'll probably be coming out that we would have expected him.
Yeah, it'd be like November, December time, probably anyway.
So he's coming back from an injury. I don't know how good it will be. Honestly, I genuinely think that's probably the most controversial signing out of everyone.
Yeah.
But he's the World Cup winner. He's the.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? He's won it all.
Weird. It's absolutely crazy. He's just won the top 14. And we're all saying, yeah, but is he that good? It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
But it seems the Springboks fans seem the same way. Like, there is a lot of comments about how good he actually is. It does seem we won't know how good he is until we see him at Welford Road.
I mean, if he's like you said, if he's holding that trophy, he's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have Jimmy Gopper, the really fucking old man.
You know what? I think this is, along with Ollie Cracknell, this is our best signing.
Yeah,
I know it sounds daft,
I think he's going to have a what's his name? I forgot. Richard Wigglesworth. How did I forget his name? I think he's going to have a very similar role.
Yeah, 100%. Well, saying that, I think he'll start the season though. He will be our starting 12 with Kelly out. We don't know how long he could be back. We don't know, but I feel like Jimmy will start. But I did a bit of Wasp reporting as well last year, and he was their best player by far.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Everything I've seen with Wasps, he is by far their best player. I mean, 100%. He was at Newcastle, he was one of their best players. He was at Leicester, he was one of their best players. He was at the Hurricanes, he was one of their best players. He's 102 and he can still kick, he can still run, he can still tackle. And that game against Newcastle there.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like I said, he's 102 and he has dancing feet.
He's run back from probably about, I think they kicked through from inside R22, ran back, got the ball, dodged a few tackles, got us into a good position, clear our lines. It's mad.
He is so good, and I know there's a bit of, you'll probably know more than me, like the what's going on with the contracts and stuff at Wasps. But to let him go is incredible.
Yeah. Like, especially after last season. Like, I think from what I understand, they offered him 1 year, we offered him 2. But he's your best player last season. Why are you not offering 2? He's not slowing down anytime soon.
No, he looks in great shape. He looks absolutely incredible, and I think he's actually gotten better since last season. He looks a bit leaner. He has a bit more upper body to him.
Yeah.
So I
think
really
like a lot. I think he works. I think Dan Kelly is an excellent player, and for me, will be England's next 12. But but Jimmy Gopper and Freddie Burns work so well as a 10-12 combination, because Jimmy, he knows what he's doing. He's going to make the sensible options. Where you got Freddie's, but I know he doesn't like the word maverick, but he does have that edge about him. He can do something special. But he has these few moments, Freddie. But I just feel like that is such a good 10-12 partnership. That's technically not even our first choice partnership.
No, that's the thing. It's really hard at the minute to decide what is our best team, because there's just so many quality options. Like, could you imagine saying that, like, what, 4 or 5 years ago?
God, I mean, like, I didn't even think we had a best team.
I can remember when our only carrier was Callum Mahoney.
Yeah. Literally, that was it.
And we have like, anyone can come in. Doesn't matter if you're coming off the bench, if you're last minute swapping for an injured player, you're coming in, you're going to go, yeah, he's going to do a fucking great job. It's incredible. And most of the boys are young.
That's the crazy part. Like we won the league last year, but we've got so much progression, so much. Wow, we could be such an amazing team in a few years when these young lads, like these lads, have won a premiership at 20, 21, 22. Like, that's ridiculous. Like the progression they're going to have in a few years, they're going to be some of the best players in the world.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, like JVP, Chesham, both Cheshams. I really like Lewis as well. Kind of two different players, but God, they look great. There's so many options. I mean, in pre-season, I really do think George Martin has been a really unsung hero.
100%. He must be looking. I'm sure they're all great friends, but he must be looking at Ollie and being like, "That could have been me."
Yeah,
I was the one who got into the camp first, who made the debut. It was Six Nations 2021, was it?
Yeah,
they came on.
I'm sure it was
out of absolutely nowhere. Like, no one was expecting it. He's only playing a few times for Leicester. Put in. Eddie obviously saw some in, and then we've not seen him. I think he went to the England camp during the summer, maybe, or at some point he was in the camp, but he obviously hasn't played since.
He's went to the England camp in the summer. He's been to 2 of the like mid-season camps, I think. But even then, he's still not getting picked. And I don't understand why.
Yeah, and then obviously Ollie made his debut, absolutely fantastic. But George must be like, it's my time to shine now. Yeah. Like, he has got it all. Good feet. Absolutely nails people in defence. Like, some of his hits are absolutely I'd hate to be on the receiving end of one of them.
Yeah.
But I think this could be a great season for him.
100%, 100%. So the other sign is Phil Cocknesinger. I think this one's, one of these dark horses because I've not seen too much of him at Irish. I've only seen a little bit of him coming off the bench, but he reminds me of Gonover.
Yeah, that's Does
he's got that Fijian flair. He's got the dancing feet, and he's a big presence on the field.
Yeah, well, he had the best possible start to Tigers' career as such. He was still playing for Irish at this point, but when the Premiership Cup game, when I think he had been announced as, I'm not actually, maybe not. I think it's rumoured he was joining us, and he scored a try where he was sidestepping. I don't know who it was at that time, but sidestepped a few players, went under the posts, and that was like, oh, here we go. We have got a good one on us. And I think he made a run against Newcastle where he skipped past a few and showed a good bit of pace. I think he's definitely
he set up that try. I think after that break, the same one we're talking about. I'm sure it set up the try in the corner for Potter.
Could possibly. Yeah. I think someone who's probably not quite. He probably might play in the Premiership a bit, but he's probably not quite Premiership quality yet. But probably Steve,
I think the coaching team. I think he'll get a couple.
Yeah, and there's definitely an excellent player inside him. Just need to. I'll bring it out of him, get him experience inside the training, and I think it's definitely a good one to look out for because he's got the physicality, he's got the good feet, he's got that Gonover style player. So it's an exciting prospect.
I mean, I think he's got the best coaches around him at the moment with Wigglesworth giving him pointers. You've got Matt Smith giving him pointers. You'll have Jimmy giving him pointers as well. You'll have everyone around him giving him. Go and try this, try that. And we've got Nandolo till Christmas. I can see him possibly getting a few shouts out on the wing as well. So it could possibly be a really, really astute signing, especially for the future.
Yeah. We'll see how he gets on.
So Anthony Watson.
Who would have thought? I gotta say, I think
I'm not his biggest fan, I will admit.
Yeah,
and like I've said, I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan.
At his best, when he's absolutely firing, I think a few times for England, he's been firing. He's probably one of the best wingers in world rugby. Quick, good feet, excellent in the air.
I think it's been a while since he's had a good season.
But it has been a while since we've seen him. It's the injuries. Again, the injuries really worry me. I think he obviously went off early against Newcastle. It sounds like he probably will make it for extra on Saturday, but the injuries are a worry. And if he is fit, he's going to get picked for England. So it's kind of, I think we have got it on, got him on a cheaper deal just for the season. It seems. I don't know.
I think he's there as a cheaper deal because Freddie Stewart's there. I think Eddie will pick Freddie Stewart over him.
Yeah.
I could see him actually having more Leicester time than Freddie Stewart this season if he's fit.
Yeah, the fitness is the issue. Is the thing. So I think if he is fit and firing, he's an excellent player. Suits our style for it. I think he would play on the wing. I'd have him with Stewart and at fullback and him on the wing. Obviously, they can move around. It's kind of a bit whatever at the moment with the back three, but he's going to be great in the air, lots of crossfield kicks, lots of high balls, but it is that fitness.
I did have a bit of an argument on one of your photos when it was announced that that he was being signed because after it was Bath away to Leicester when we had him up at our ground and he could not catch a ball to save his life.
And I don't think he's a fullback.
No. I think he has to play a winger now. But it was that point in time where I'm like, God, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that was the game that instantly it was the front of my mind. It was, can he catch the ball? Well, thankfully, and I shouldn't say this, but George Ford's injured, so we don't have to worry about that kicking. God, that high ball was such a weapon, and no one could catch it. No, I've never seen anything like it, ever.
that it's going to be just going to be horrible to play him. for his for our sake, I hope he's still injured when we do come to face Sale. But it's out of all the players,
we'll miss him for one of the games, and he could be back for the second game. I think, remembering right, but it's one of those injuries. I mean, well, when we signed John Barclay at Edinburgh, he was out for 1.5 years. But there's been other players that have came back in 9 months, so it's a huge swing. So you never know. So Lachlan Shelley, the only thing I know about him, the only thing I know is the boy has got gas.
Yeah,
he is quick.
Yeah, very similar signing to Harry Potter, Guy Porter. No idea who those two were when they signed. Look at them now. Yeah. One's an England international. I think Harry Potter will get an international call this season. Well, I hope it's for England.
I think but with the form that Harry Potter's been in, he has to get an England call up.
Yeah,
or 100%. Or at least into the camp. At least have a look in the camp. Just see if Eddie actually wants him there or not. But it's Eddie. No one fucking knows what Eddie wants.
God knows. But yeah, Lachlan, from the little highlights I saw, again, I think this was from a few years ago. He is literally an unknown. He's not even, unlike Potter and Porter. I think they did get to. They did play. They didn't play club, but they got into. I can't remember which teams they were in, but they did get to like Western Province or someone. Sydney, so they're playing. They play for the students, and then I think one of them got into like the Melbourne Rebels like squad. Didn't play for them, but whereas Lachlan, as far as I'm aware, has not got anywhere near to that standard. But again, hard recruitment.
To be fair, though, they're the players that we've signed from Australia right now that have all went on to these clubs, and they've all turned around and said, "No, you're not good enough." And then they've went to Leicester. Nick Donnelly, Harry Potter, Guy Porter. They're all league winners now.
Yeah.
So it bodes well. It's a good omen.
And he's, as you said, wheels. And that's one thing. If you could be harsh with our team over the last year and a bit, we don't have out and out pace on our wing. Like Potter's quick, but he's not rapid.
No.
Steward's quick, but he's not rapid. Nandolo's obviously a completely different type of player, but we don't have that wheels.
For being Nandolo.
He's quick for his size, but yeah. And you just love to have a winger who is just out and out speed.
Oh yeah. I mean, like watching someone like Lewis Lina to kind of compare. Just the gas on that kid and just watching him just score tries for fun. It's when he stepped Nandolo at Welford Road and scored from nothing, and it was just pace. Absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, if you can sort of replicate that and, get that Harry Potter vibe as well, it could be a great signing, but it's definitely one from the future because I think he's, 18, 19?
Yeah, I think he might be 20 or something, but he's definitely young. Okay. He's not. He's got plenty of potential.
It's still development.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking across the team, speaking of like all the young boys, I mean, it's frightening how young Leicester is nowadays.
Yeah. You've got the two extremes, haven't you? You've got the extremely young and then you got the extremely old.
Yeah.
And then a few in the middle.
Wigglesworth and Gopper are both 39, and then you look at the other end where you've got the bulk of the teams like 2021.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Henderson's 21. Was it Martin's 21? Jessham's 20, 21.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them around that age.
But they're all like the forwards being that young and that dominant now. It's bringing back the old ABC days. It's frightening.
Yeah, 100%. Like these are only just starting their professional career. They've hopefully got 10 more years of playing at the high level, and where some of these players can get to is amazing as a Tigers fan, but scary for oppositions how good this team could be.
Yeah, and then we have Dan Richardson and Archie Vaines coming back from on loan that I've seen. So I really want to see both of them in the team. I like Dan Richardson. I really want to see Archie Vaines go because I think his day scored. I think it was Newcastle away, and he scored. Was it 2? I don't know, I can't remember. But yeah, I think Archie Vaines is definitely the next one on the
well, the next one for our hooker positions, good size, good arrows, scores more tries. I think he's definitely one. I think we probably won't see much in this season. I feel like he will have another season in the Championship. I think it's better for his development. I feel like that's why we have got a couple of extra hookers come in.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that Montoya, when he comes back, because I've seen a few little bits of chatter. I've got a friend in Argentina, and we're kind of having like a bit of dialogue. There's a little bit of chatter around their stuff, and he's saying that there is the potential of he might come back, get rested, and maybe have a little bit of a cleaning of the knees.
Yeah.
So there's the potential of that. So that's a 6-week process.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Like his knees are getting wrapped up proper.
I think Genge mentioned that as well as on Rugby Pass.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a bit of time off whenever he does come back.
I would like to see like a young boy and an old boy sort of playing. Whether the young boy is coming off the bench, I'd kind of my hope for this season is the young boys are coming through a lot more.
Yeah,
because there's too much quality not to play them. God, I've got so many questions. So contracts. Yeah, I mean, is there anyone surprised you that left?
Well, I think the biggest one for everyone was Van Staden. I don't think anyone. Obviously, there was
genuinely gutted.
There was a lot of worries that maybe he never would play rugby again. There was obviously it was something to do with head, neck area. So it was a shame that we've lost him and he's gone back to the Bulls. But that's rugby, isn't it? I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what happened, but it's just good to see that he will be back playing, because there was a worry that he would never play again. I think that was the main one that kind of wasn't expecting to leave.
No, I think everyone that re-signed as well, you expected them to re-sign. So
yeah, obviously the big worry at the moment is Stewart, but I just can't see why he would. Obviously, money talks. People can offer a load of money, maybe not in this age with the salary cap, but he's 21.
I think that'll swear him.
Yeah, he's 21, 22, playing with his best friends in obviously the champions of England. Like, this is the club he's always played for in the academy. I just can't see a moment where he would leave. Like, I just can't see it. I know there are worrying reports that there is issues with contract, different figures, that he's asking for more, but I'm sure we'll get it sorted.
Is there any position that you're thinking, I'd quite like someone in that position?
The back row is obviously a very attritional position. Maybe we're a bit light if obviously Visa will be away. I don't know how he's still going. He's basically played for 2 years straight. If we get a few injuries,
it's absolutely incredible that what he does, what he goes through, and it's just doesn't stop.
No.
I mean, watching him from the Springboks, they're better with him than without him.
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's that stat that I don't think they've lost when he started since he's made his debut.
It's weird that he's put out for Vermeulen. Vermeulen's non-existent now, but since he's came in.
Yeah, it is. It's a very strange call. Well, there's a few strange calls with their coaching staff and who they pick and stuff. But yeah, the back row is a little bit of worry. A few injuries we do look at a little bit light maybe, but it's the same goes for every squad. Every squad is so much smaller than it was a few years ago. Academy players are going to see Premiership action for many teams this season. It's going to be who can keep their team fit.
I'd love to see Elenoki.
Yeah,
get a good. I want to see him get a few good run-outs and see what he can actually do at the top level. Because we've seen him in the Premiership Cup. Can he make that step up?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, we'll see him involved at some point.
So, what do you think about the preparation for the season? Because we've seen a few little bits here and there. So, we'll start with the attack. Do you think there's going to be any changes to it? A bit more freedom, or are we going to do the Leicester way, up the jump, or maul them to the cow sheds?
It's so hard to know because we obviously, I think Borthwick doesn't show his hand a lot at all. Pre-season games probably don't mean anything. I remember last season, can't remember who our last pre-season game was. It was one of the Welsh sides. We were awful,
Newport,
absolutely terrible. We lost. But then a week later, we beat Exeter, like convincingly. So it's so hard to know what is going on behind closed doors, whether our attack will be different, whether we're just going to play the same, we're going to kick more. Because
I think this season with the likes of Simmons coming in, I think Wigglesworth's going to take a little bit of a back step. So he's just going to slowly get faded out. But I don't know if you've seen the Ellis Genge talking about the try that was it Visa scored in the final.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the clip of Ellis talking about that, where he's like, so he said it was Wigglesworth's idea to do that, and he broke it down and said, right, this is what we'll do. They always put the weaker attackers closer to the wing.
Yeah.
So when you watch it back, you have Genge pick up the ball and then switch, and then Visa comes on the loop. So Genge instantly takes the contact, blocks everyone out, and Visa just hits the ball and goes. So that was Wigglesworth's idea. So if you watch it back, you'll see the players go to Wigglesworth rather than Visa. Yeah. So I could see that Wigglesworth's now starting to get a few ideas where he's like, I think we should try this. I think we should try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful try. Like, I know it's so simple, but the timing of that, everything was just so good. But yeah, you wouldn't Wigglesworth maybe come up with a few more ideas this season, but you never know.
I think he's going to be a bit of a mad doctor coming out and trying a few things. There's going to be a few interesting things coming out from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Defense, I think there probably won't be that much change to it. There'll be a few alterations, but it was such a great defense. I mean, Kevin Sinfield coming in.
Everyone is going to... Sorry, everyone's literally going to be after a rugby league legend, aren't they now? Like, as soon as you get a rugby league defensive coach, you have an amazing defense. Look at France now.
Yeah.
Literally one of the best 100%. Defenses.
That's such a great point, and I never thought about it, but that is an absolutely brilliant point.
And I'm not sure what it is. I don't know why, but it seems that
I think it's because it's a faster game. It's just
you make a lot more tackles.
Yeah, it's a similar game, but it's faster. So you have to have that awareness to it.
And like, if you like Sir Kevin, it should be, is a legend. Like, if he's asking you to sum in, is to do something, you're doing it. Like, no matter what. Look at this. He's done outside rugby and all these marathons.
You cannot say no to that man. I mean,
no,
I think it was
you will fight for everything.
I think it was Nandolo that came out and was like, I just can't say no to him. It's like he's just ran that 100 miles. It's like, I'm gonna have to try harder. I think he dropped a few K, and you know, you could see his work rate getting up. But I mean, that's just one player coming out and going, it's Sir Kev. We have to say it. We have to do what he says, because he's doing way more than we are. Set piece. For me, the shaky area was the scrum. The line out was just impeccable. I think we could go up another level with a scrum, though. But it is Tom Harrison's first coaching job at the top level.
Yeah, it seems to go through stages in the season. We seem to go through maybe a few patches where our scrum looked really strong. Then we got found out. I think I remember the Quins game before Christmas. I feel like we got found out a little bit. It's something that needs working on, but we're still one of the best in the league.
Yeah, definitely I think we finished with like second or third in the scrum stats. I think it was.
Definitely can get better.
It's not bad, but you want number one.
Yeah,
but
100%. And I feel like our maul at the end of last season was looking not as obviously teams knew we were going to go for the maul. We knew how strong we are, so teams looked at that's how we're going to defend it. And it wasn't as effective at the end of the season, but I know it's only pre-season, but against Jersey, against Newcastle, it looked like that as something they've been working hard at to make sure it's another great force again.
For me is with him and Ollie Cracknell, I think were our two best players in this preseason. I think Charlie Clare looks absolutely incredible at this moment in time.
Yeah. Well, it's another one where you look at, I'll say probably 2 seasons ago, he was maybe just on the verge of maybe an international call-up, and then Nick Dolly came in and blew it out of the water at the start of last season.
But
I think it's another one that
Clare, I can't remember what the injury was for Clare, but it was just
it's like broken his foot or something. Yeah, I can't remember. It's something to do like that.
Yeah, but you got to take your chances. Yeah, injuries as well. I mean, there's, like you said, Dan Kelly. That's a mystery. Nick Dolly, we've seen a little bit.
Came back against Claremont, was it? And then was it Leinster? Obviously, came back from a hamstring injury and then went down pretty soon. And obviously, they've got to give him he's got a long career. Give him as much recovery as he can. Obviously, we hope to see him early on, but just make sure he's fully recovered.
There was Nick Dolly as well. I don't know if you've been keeping up with him on Instagram.
He's a machine, absolute machine.
It's just embarrassing when you're like, I need to go to the gym a bit more because fuck me, he's got one leg and he's doing better than everything I can do.
Yeah, I think it was this week he took his brace off.
The
you wouldn't bet against him being. I'm not sure what his actual injury was. Obviously, it's something to do with his legs. What everyone's seen.
I thought it was an ACL.
That was one of the worst. One of the worst rugby injuries I've actually seen, and they kept playing it on the screen, and it was horrific every time. But you wouldn't bet against him being back like ridiculously quick because he's just a machine in the gym.
I mean, if you watch like what they did with Cameron Henderson, did you watch that?
That's really good. Really good stuff.
Really, the social media stuff from Leicester this last season or two. I don't know if it's Bondi going, we need to change everything, but the interaction with the fans on social media is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they've definitely stepped it up a notch.
But that documentary with Cameron Henderson, and I don't know if it was one of those things where they're like, he's going to be out for a long time. We need to have a bit of a look with him, and keep him a bit busy, a bit occupied. We'll try this, we'll try that, and we'll have a crew with him to build his morale up. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it really was. Excellent bit.
And the thing is, I was gutted because he was waiting to get picked for the Scotland squad as well.
Well, he was picked in that, was it Scotland Day at Welford Road, and then it got COVID cancelled. He was on the cusp of an international call-up and then sadly got that injury, but you hope this season will be a big season for him. Yeah,
I mean, well, another thing, I hope they get rid of all the plastic pitches because for me, I'm looking at it going, it's that 100% with the plastic pitch.
Yeah, because I think he says in the documentary, it didn't feel like anything, and then suddenly he's out for months.
Yeah,
because
when you watch it back, he just jumps up in the air and then lands, and then that's when he's done it.
So simple.
I mean, they have to do something. They have to do something about these plastic pitches.
Rugby's as bad as it is, let alone having a hard surface that your skin's basically getting rubbed off every time you play. I don't understand why it's still a thing.
They're banned in Holland. Like across the board, you're not allowed to use them. Not even recreationally, that word. So they're completely banned. They've done a lot of research on it, and they're just like, completely banned. So I don't understand why they can be banned there and they're allowed here, and there's players getting injured left, right, and centre, and they're out for like 2-3 weeks with burns. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think it was Greg Bateman when he went to, I think it was Worcester, scored under the posts, and came out covered in burns, and he had sleeves on. It's incredible. It really is. Yeah. So, influence of the old and young players. What do you think's going to happen this season? Because we've kind of touched on it a little bit. I think Gopper's going to have a Wigglesworth kind of role. And I can just see the young players really exploding this season. There's going to be such a focus on the young players.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like players like Jack will come end the season first choice. I feel like players like Hayes, this will be, obviously Cole is still absolutely ridiculous for what his age. He's only getting better. But I feel like this might be Hayes' season that he takes that that starting jersey.
I would quite like to see like a 50-50 start. But we're not the coaches. I mean, it's Dan Cole. It's Dan Cole. Yeah. Arguably the best tight head in the world at the minute, or one of the best.
But no, I think this will be a season that we start to see these players just, obviously they came through last season, but really take those starting jerseys and just be a really big season for all these young lads.
So I've been really impressed with Sneijman over this preseason, and I think he's going to slowly push out Callum Green because he's 34 now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on his age, but yeah, so I think it's presumed that he was another one that had his knee in absolute bits at the end of last season, Green. So it looks like he's probably missing the start. But yeah, Sneijman's looked good in pre-season. Could definitely see him. Yeah. I just love the combination of having someone like someone like Chesham, along with a Sneijman and Green. It just works perfectly. You just need that little
Henderson
combination
as well.
Yeah.
I just love Henderson. I think he's incredibly underrated, and his injury came at the wrong moment. And I think if you can get a few starts put together, even a few off the bench as well, he's going to have an explosive season this year.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a very exciting season for all these young lads.
I mean, there's just we keep touching on it, but there's just so many young guys in this squad. It's incredible. I can't think of another squad that's that young. Maybe Newcastle, but that's not their fault. It's a budgetary requirement.
Yeah.
But it's incredible how young this squad is. And you could see prior to the previous board members and whatnot, there was no effort to bring in these young guys.
No, that was part of Cockerell's demise as such. We had players that were young lads pushing to get into the team, and he just seemed to not pick them. And then that kind of was what stemmed that few years of pretty rubbish. It was just a bad few years. We brought in players that were absolutely useless, really, for too much money. And
yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know your opinion, but JP Peterson, I thought was an absolutely incredible waste of money.
Yeah, we just repeatedly made signings that were just way too much money, not great players, which academy players could have been, and on a lot less money. And obviously Borthwick came in at a good time. We had this crop of players that were coming through anyway, but he's given them those few matches in lockdown. We were terrible. We were losing, but these young players, look at them now. You give them a chance. You give them premiership action.
There's a few players that Borthwick got rid of that I'm kind of a bit disappointed with. Like Tom Smith, I thought had a really good future.
I think he'll still definitely be a premiership player. He seems to be. I think it was Doncaster's player of the season, or so. He got some award at the end of last season for the championship. I feel like he'll definitely be a premiership player at some point. Whether it's us, I'm not sure, but
someone will pick him up cheap, really cheap. I mean, there's a few guys coming around from that area, like is it Pooley? I really liked him for the Prem Cup games. He looked like a really handy second row.
Yeah, and still quite young as well. I can't remember what his age is, but I
thought he was
second row, back row.
Like that.
Yeah. But again, with our partnership with Nottingham, you could definitely see a few players coming in, and then who knows what can happen to them.
Well, 100%. I think there's going to be. It's hard to pick a player. I was going to ask you, like, who do you think's season will it be? Who do you think will be that top player? It is so hard to call.
Exactly, because who would have called Nick Dolly and Ollie Chesham at the start of last season? I don't think anyone would be like, these two of the players are going to be internationals by the end of it. One of the best
Guy
players.
Porter as well. Guy Porter
another one. You just don't know who's going to have that season.
Guy coming from the Sydney University, playing amateur rugby, and then bang, he's an England international 6 months later. It's crazy.
Yeah. But as I said earlier, I do think, like George Martin, this is going to be a season that he pushes on, and it's going to be one of our top players. He's got
a very pissed off streak at the minute. It was you that said it, where he's like, he's seeing Ollie there. He's seeing a few other players there that he's going through with, and you're like, I want to be there too.
Yeah, if I was to put out maybe a prediction, I think he could be one of our players of the season.
100%. I would agree with that. Him, Henderson would probably be up there. I think Potter is looking really good. Really good. I mean, that hat-trick against Newcastle was just... I don't want to say it, but there's some magic about him. He's really good.
There really is.
So, starting 15. What do you think this starting 15 will be? Now, I have two lists. One with internationals, because I don't know if the internationals will be back or not, and one without.
All right.
So, do you want to go first, sir? Number 1.
So, I think the obvious choice is Cronin. I feel like
100%. Exactly.
At the moment, Van Vick looked good in parts last season. I think there was he looked absolutely amazing against Northampton away. Scored a try.
I think he needs consistency.
But yeah, there's a little bit of shaking. I think he got pinned a few times at the scrum. I think maybe a confidence. But Cronin's number 1. Whitcomb again is coming through. Whether it's this season, he's first choice.
Whitcomb's number 2.
Number 2. Don't think this season will be his season of picking up the number 1 shirt, but yeah, Cronin's your number 1.
Yep. Number 2.
Wow. The Emperor. When fit, Montoya.
Yeah.
Best hooker in the world.
Montoya, or I think he's going to be out for a while. And if he's away with Argentina and whatnot, Claire's looking absolutely brilliant at the minute. We don't know when Nick Dolly's coming back, but Charlie Claire looks incredible. So tight head.
As I said, I know it's hard because Cole is just absolute Tigers legend.
Yeah,
but I do feel like this is Joe Hayes' season. We saw in over the summer of England that I don't know why he didn't start all the tests. He's way better than Stewart, but Eddie sees a different picture to everyone else. But
100%. I mean, I think Sinclair can be really hit or miss. Like, as a Scot, looking at the England team, it's I would go Hayes.
Yeah, I feel like this is Hayes' season.
And I'd also been Mako Vunipola because he's shit. Don't like him. But anyway, so 4. Who would you have?
I love Harry Wells. I think he's another Tigers legend. He'll go down. He's got just an excellent player. Love the mullet. Just everything about him. But Ollie Chesham. Ollie Chesham is my number 4. He's came out of nowhere, really. Just started the season Prem Cup. Just starting in those, a little bit off the bench, and then suddenly he started in the final.
So for me, if the internationals aren't back, I'd have Harry Wells, and I'd have Stayman at 5.
Yeah, same for me.
If the internationals are back, and if the internationals are back, I'd have the same. To be honest, I'd probably putting Chesham at 6.
Yeah, definitely an option.
I really like Chesham at 6. It's really a toss up between him and Hanro. For me, it's so close. It's who do you play? They've got that tall, rangy 6 kind of vibe to them, but that's the great thing. It's another young boy that can play 2 positions.
Yeah, exactly.
In a small squad. That's it. Who was your number 5? Sorry.
I'll go Snyman. I feel like this from obviously Green had an excellent season last year, but I feel like this from what he did in the preseason, I feel like this might be Snyman's season to push up as that fit number 5.
He's looking a little bit fitter. He's looking a little bit bigger as well. He's got a bit of muscle that he's throwing around, so he does look pretty good. Your number 6,
Hanro. I know. I love him when he plays 8, but he's a 6. He's just suited to that role. Well, he plays 7 as well, but he's a number 6. Plays the best when he's 6. Gets that space on the wings. He's just brilliant.
For me, I mean, it depends if, like I said, the internationals are back. I'd have George Martin at 6. I think that's
the hard part.
I think that's probably his best position. I like him at number 8 as well. He's really physical. He reminds me of a Magnus Bradbury. The way he plays, he's really rangy, bit of pace on him, and he just wants to smash everyone that moves. But yeah, if the internationals are back, I have Ollie Chesham at 6. Number 7, Tommy Rafael. And if he's not 100%. There, Handrow at 7. For me, it's a toss-up between them two.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, that you, depending on what team you're playing, like Exeter on Saturday, you probably would go with Handrow at 7 because you want that big back row, but Tommy's just excellent.
It's incredible how underrated Tommy Rafael is. I do not understand it at all.
Yeah,
just
looks absolutely knackered as soon as he starts the game, and yet still puts it in for the whole 80 minutes. He's an absolute.
I love.
It's just
every time you put up a picture, I just laugh because it's always that just some face he's pulled.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Just absolutely knackered, but wins you a turnover, saves a try, just every game it seems.
I think his ball carrying seriously came on.
Yeah,
I think that was 100% the weak area.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who's influenced them. Probably Lewis Deakin and a bit of Bothwick as well. But I mean, great, he's away with Wales now. My only fear is that will he go back to Wales or not?
Yeah, obviously they have some interesting rules with obviously playing in Wales, and obviously with the 60 caps and stuff like that. But then there's the whole rolling contract thing that apparently Raffles on, so he might have to go back. But it all seems a bit confusing. But yeah, hopefully they can somehow agree something that he stays.
I don't get it, but yeah, there's been a few people I've spoken to and on your Instagram page and stuff, and I think everyone agrees, like, get the boy down on a long-term contract, whether it's 4 or 5 years, something like that. He deserves a good long contract because he's incredibly underrated. Incredibly. I mean, it was that Wales South Africa game, and he came on and just absolutely dominated South Africa for his first cap.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, hopefully we can somehow sort out something. Hopefully. Obviously, Visa when internationals are back. Liebenberg, if they're not. Martin, another one who could. Cracknell.
I really think they'll go with Cracknell after the form he showed. If Visa's not there, he's our number 8.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Janssen has a really good season. Obviously, had a little bit of issue with the Butterfingers in that pre-season against Newcastle, but he's got a great physicality, very similar to Visa. Just hopefully,
I can see him having being a really good bench player, Janssen, for this season. Where you're like, he covers that 6, 7, 8, and you're like, okay, go out and just play your game and smash everyone.
Yeah,
I can really see him doing well. Number 9.
Obviously, when internationals are back, I think JVP. I think this is the 100%. Season that
I think he's now surpassed.
Unreal in Australia. Like, he looks so good, and like to get a start in your, was it second test he started, like second cap? Like, he just pushed on, and he'll be frustrated that he missed out on the final. That will probably have hurt him a lot. And yeah, I feel like this is the season that Jack will start, and you have someone like Ben on the bench, that experience, Wigglesworth on the bench. Like, that's just such a great combination to have.
It's good seeing him Wigglesworth. I think he'll be the more coach role this season, but it's good seeing him down at the side of the pitch all the time, pulling boys off, going, right, do this, do that, do this, do that. So I think JVP all the way. 10. We both know who it's going to be.
It's got to be Freddie until Andre proves that.
I really can't see him getting anywhere close. I think Freddie is far pushing past everyone at the minute. It's just consistency and being happy. He's playing well.
Yeah, exactly.
11.
Obviously, Nandolo to start the season. he can get found out a bit now with his pace. Obviously, teams can figure out kicking and stuff like that and getting outpaced. But I just love watching him. I think he just brings that entertainment. Something else that we don't have with our
exactly the
Samaki's
same for me.
a good ball carrier, but to start the season, I think you got to have him.
Yep, yeah, for me, exactly the same. Nando all the way. 12. The old man. It's got to be the old man.
It's got to be.
Jimmy
Until
Gopper.
Kelly is back, Jimmy will be our 12.
Yep, 100%. 13.
Well, until internationals are back, it will be Scott. Yep. But then I didn't think Porter was a centre somehow last season. I thought Winger, just 11, 14, he looked better. But that run of form, well, which got him the international call-up, he looked excellent at 13. Like, just so physical. He's not a big guy. Like,
no.
But he's...
No, he really isn't.
But yeah, I think Porter, when the international's back, he's definitely the starting 13.
Yep, exactly the same. Start with Scott and then bring in Porter. Even just switch him around depending on how you want to play.
Yeah, 100%.
And then other wing.
Well, if fit, I'd go Watson. But if he's not, Ashton. I think absolutely. Who would have thought Ashton would come in to play for Leicester, break the record
after the whole trouble of last season to do that?
Just like
nuts.
Absolutely bonkers to see him in a shirt, but he proved his worth. Excellent bit of business from Borthwick. He still runs those great lines. Maybe he doesn't have the speed he used to have, but 100% great player to have on your right wing.
For me, I'd go Harry Potter on one wing, Nandolo on the other. I think that looks the best.
Yeah,
just a nice bit of contradiction to each other. You got the physicality on one wing and a bit of pace on the other. I think that looks really good. And then fullback.
That's the thing. Obviously, if the internationals aren't back, then you probably do go Watson at 15. Although I'm still not 100% he's a fullback. I know he has played there many a time and for England, but I'm still a little bit worried about him under the high ball and stuff. But he'll start at fullback, and then obviously when the international's back, good old Freddie will take that mantle.
Yeah, I mean Freddie Stewart starts every time for me, but I really like Ashton at fullback. Just giving him a bit of space to run.
Yeah,
I think Ashton would be a good shout at fullback. So, score predictions for this weekend. Away to Exeter.
It's be my first time down to Sunday Park. That's one I think it's the last ground to tick off. I think I've been to all the other Premiership ones. Horrible place to play.
I'll come to that actually. What's your favourite ground that you've been to? Seriously, you've been to so many.
You know what? London Irish last season at the Brentford Stadium. I know it's a bit of a different type of stadium, and it's all shiny and brand new, but it was a really good stadium, and I really enjoyed it. I know it's a shame they don't get. Obviously, hopefully this season they get a bit more into the ground. Yeah. But I thought it was a really, really nice stadium and quite easy to get to. Obviously, in terms of history and stuff, Gloucester, like the atmosphere is the only thing for me that rivals Welford Road.
Did you manage to get into the shed?
No, I was the opposite side in the in whatever that stand is opposite the shed.
I'd love to get in the shed. That's up there with some of the best stadiums in the world. Gloucester. Yeah. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, so
I've got such a soft spot for the Stoop. The good atmosphere, good food. It's relatively easy to get to. I absolutely love the Stoop. There's just something about it. It's a very it's an old school ground. I love it.
Yeah, and I'd say the worst one is probably Saracens. For some reason, I was doing media last year. For some reason, their newsstand, their media bit isn't undercover. So when it rained, just rains on your laptop, because that makes total sense. One thing God. You just... And
why am I not surprised Saracens done that? Did you say something bad to them? Did you write a little article saying, they're... doing some dodgy shit again, and they're like, yeah, he can go in that rainy bit.
Yeah, and obviously you're quite far away, so yeah, that's probably the worst one out of the ones I've been to. But yeah, for the Saturday, it's a horrible place to play. We've not had a good record. Last season, we were excellent defense. I think we will sneak it again, but Exeter are going to be hurting after last season. It's going to be tight. It's going to be a score in it or something, but I feel like
I'm thinking a point or two either way.
Yeah,
a point or two, depending on who will win.
I'd be happy with a point as well. Obviously, I'd want to win, but everyone's going to be going for us this season. Everyone wants to beat the champions, but I think we'll just about nick it.
I'm thinking about 18-17.
Yeah.
I think a really attritional game, a couple of scores at 18-17 would be a good shout.
Yeah, definitely. But no, it should be good to go down there for my first time.
Very jealous. Let's hope it's been absolutely sunny, because it has been raining for 4 days in Scotland here. I haven't seen the sun in about a month, so let's hope it's good for you, man.
Yeah.
So it has been incredible talking to you, finally meeting you after a year and a half. We have to do this again at some point, sir.
100%. 100%.
Everyone out there that's been watching, thank you for joining in with us. Please follow Leicester Tiger Memes on Instagram. Give my page a follow. And as always, people, stay awesome, and thank you for watching.